I feel blessed. Way up, I feel blessed. Way up.
Say, yeah.
You're listening to Blessed on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network with your host, Raquel Tolson. Blessed. It's more than just a hashtag.
Hi, welcome to the Blessed Podcast. I'm your host, Raquel. This podcast is to help you experience being blessed that transcends a mere hashtag. Now, I have to give my disclaimer. I'm not an evangelist. I'm not a preacher, or prophet, or even a Bible scholar. I'm just a God-loving, Bible-believing, New Thought Christian who believes that God blesses us according to our faith and how we work his principles. So if you're ready to be encouraged by hearing how God is blessing his children, then you're in the right place. And my first guest on my podcast is my friend, Lilka Finley Raphael. We have been friends for over 30 years. We met on the highest of the 7 hills in Tallahassee, Florida, while attending Florida A&M University. You thought I was getting ready to do the strike.
I was waiting.
Anybody that's out there that's a rattler, they understand exactly what we're laughing about, because you know that's our claim to fame at Florida A&M, also known as FAMU. That we're on the highest of the 7 hills in Tallahassee,
and rightfully so. Yes.
Oh, I had you know what? I look back, and our time at FAMU was amazing.
It was.
It was amazing, and then we were talking about how long we've been friends. We have been friends since our second year. I guess knew each other for 33 years, but we didn't really become friends until our second year in FAMU.
Pledging together forms ties that, linger.
Yes. And you have not been able to get rid of me since.
Yeah. But I'm grateful.
So Lilka and I just came back from Jamaica. We went on a girls trip. It's 7 of us that we've known each other all the way back since then. And it's 7 of us, and we travel together. I just kind of got in on it. That was you guys' 14th trip.
Correct, yes.
And I think I may have come in halfway through.
You were supposed to be on the first one, but you kind of kept going, nah, and then we finally and then you realize
I had that little baby though, and my mama sometimes didn't want to keep him from me for those.
Okay.
Anyway, and then I moved all the way to LA.
Yes, that was.
And you guys were doing most of them on the East Coast.
Correct.
And it was a little bit rough for me to get to the East Coast, but then you moved it to Houston. That was the first time I got there because you moved it closer to me.
Yeah, so
you guys came to Houston, right? And so that's when I joined. And then I've been just going over to the East Coast, and then y'all took me all the way to Jamaica this time.
But you loved it.
I loved it. Yes, I loved it. It was hot and humid. And this Cali girl was sweating up a storm in that humidity. But I loved it.
But well worth it. Well worth the time spent together.
It was definitely well worth it. And I was saying, because of my new show, and the tagline is blessed, it's more than just a hashtag. So I kept myself from posting pictures on Instagram with the hashtag blessed.
That is hilarious.
Even though I actually like that hashtag, because it's like, to me, people are giving honor to God for their blessings. They're not like, look at me. It's, some of them may feel that way, but to me, when I see hashtag blessed, I'm thinking, like Bruno Mars said in his song, you got to blame it on Jesus, hashtag blessed. Because he said, it's God that gives the blessings. So that's what I look at it. But I do realize that people, sometimes they see that, because most of the time people do that when they're on trips to Jamaica or on these fancy getaway trips, when they buying nice luxury things, or they doing, cool stuff. But that's not what blessed is being about. You know, it's so much more than the things and all that stuff.
Oh, for
You know?
sure, definitely.
Yeah.
Me and another girlfriend, she's frat, we would get tickled because you see people, they have the luxury cars, and trust me, I have nothing against luxury cars, but they'll say blessed on the tag. And I guess for some people, if you're driving a car that's not a luxury, you know, is that supposed to make them feel that they're not as blessed because they don't have the privilege to do that? So I think we need to kind of break down, you know, what blessings really are for some
Yeah.
people, you know, and the perception that comes with that hashtag.
Yeah, and I tell you what, if you got the money to get on a bus, it's blessed.
Yeah, it is.
You know, I'm like, maybe your bus pass should say blessed. I'm just saying, you know, it's you blessed no matter what because you can go. And some people can't even get out of the house.
Exactly, under their own power. You know, they can't take
Exactly.
in front of one another. So, I mean, everything is relative.
It is.
You know, it's definitely more than just a hashtag. You know, as much fun as we had, it's really about the connections that have survived the years, not just a fun and laughing and having a good time in Jamaica.
Yes, it's so true. I mean, and we're gonna get, that's what I want to get into. But before we really get really into the blessed, let me tell you why I chose you to be my first guest.
I cannot wait to hear this.
It's because of your blog. B is for blessed.
Okay.
So like, who better to talk about blessed? If you talk about being blessed in a blog, then who better to talk about on my first, you know, as my first guest, to talk about being blessed and what blessed means to you, because you obviously have put a lot of thought into it if you have a blog called B is for blessed.
I have. I will give you that one. I will definitely give you that one. And your blessings, they are continuous, but sometimes I think it takes us time to realize just how profound they are, even as life takes us through different changes. You know, some things that you never thought twice about, you know, later in life, you realize how great a blessing they really are. I think we are a culture that takes a lot of things for granted. Only when we go through certain circumstances, we realize, hey, how fortunate and blessed we really are, and what being blessed means even in adversity. You know, it's not just the good times that you're blessed. A lot of times your strongest blessings actually come through hardship.
You know, that's interesting because one of my favorite scriptures really is that and all things are working together for the good of them who love God, you know, and then so it's like when things are not going right, all things, not just the good things, not all things are working together for my good, like all things. So when I'm going through, I have to remind myself, because then I can feel blessed in the midst of that storm, because I know that that's going to come through. And let me give you an example, because I know there's some people out there like, I can't get with that. Not lost my job, but they did not renew my contract after March. And look, we met each other at pharmacy school. We're pharmacists, which means I make over $100,000 a year. And them telling me 2 weeks before that I wasn't gonna have a job no more. It was like, you can't come up with 2 weeks before I'm not gonna make $100,000, right? Okay. But the blessing is that when I found out that my aunt had stage 4 lung cancer, and because I didn't have to go to work, I was able to go back and forth. Well, I'm able to go back and forth to St. Louis to spend time with her. So all things work together for my good.
You are correct.
All things.
Right. But see, you have to be in a certain state of mind to realize that, because some people would have the same thing happen and would still be complaining, but you took something that appeared to be negative and turned it into an opportunity. And that's a choice that we make. And everybody doesn't make that choice. You have to reprogram yourself and program your mind to make those deliberate choices, even when they're painful.
So that brings me to one of your points that being blessed is a choice. Like a lot of people think that being blessed is God showering stuff on you, but being blessed is your choice. You wake up every day to choose to be blessed.
And I'm not taking anything from the favor and the gifts that God gives us by any means, but you have to make a choice as to how you perceive them. And you know, this life and its ups and downs, inevitably you're going to get some hard hits, and you can either choose to lie there, or you can choose to get up and be grateful that you have another opportunity to try again. And that's where I think it makes the difference between some people that are just kind of going through the motions and people that are really enjoying the life that they've been given. And I mean, at all times, some of us are going through the motions depending on what's going on. But do we stay in that state, or do we choose to get up and embrace life?
Right. I you know what? Kate, the Kate Spade lady, right? What's her name, Kate Spade? Or just her bag is Kate Spade? When she committed suicide, it really it did something to me, because I'm like, this lady has everything you think a person could want. It's not just the stuff, the money, the, beautiful home and name recognition, probably could go to anywhere for free. When you're rich and famous, you don't have to pay no more for real. If people let you come, we would have been able to stay in Jamaica for free if we was rich and famous for real. That's what happens. But what got me was when they said her dad had just talked to her daughter. So she had a loving child, a loving parent. That's deep, because to still have a loving parent around at our age it's not everybody doesn't have that. And then to have a loving child, everybody don't have that either. And it was just so she had all the stuff that you think you would want in life. And she still had the family love. And she still woke up and she didn't feel blessed, and she took her life.
Well, money can't buy peace. You have a lot of people that are always pursuing the next big house, the next job, the next car, the next this or that, but they are miserable. Depression and mental illness is real. And a lot of times people don't take it seriously, or they gloss over it. And again, that's a choice. Sometimes you have a choice to seek treatment.
Right.
Best.
Right. That's a good point. So, Lilka, I know there may be some people out there thinking oh, well, you guys are pharmacists and they're looking at you. She's beautiful. And, of course she feels blessed. But you know what? Tell us a little bit about your life.
I cannot complain about my life by any means. I will say one of the biggest obstacles that I've had to deal with is raising a child that's diagnosed with autism. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, he's done really well. But mentally, I struggle with that. In the beginning, I blame myself. Was it something that I did? Was it something I was exposed to? Mm-hmm. Then you go through the cycle of why me? And I think anyone suffering from anything, cancer, a disappointment, you do kind of question God, and then you get to a point where God's not going to always answer you. You can ask, but you're not going to always receive an answer. And at a certain point, you have to make peace with that. Mm-hmm. But I will say, raising both my sons, because they're totally opposite, definitely kept me on my toes. And even through some of the things that we had to struggle with, you have to remember that you're blessed, that even though we complain about things, there are people who would love to have the problems that we have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it actually, you're talking about scripture. I was reading something today. I was actually searching for something else, but in Numbers, it talked about how the Israelites were complaining to Moses. They were complaining that he had delivered them from Egypt, but they were in the wilderness. They were fussing about the food that they were literally receiving from heaven. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So an odd thing happened is they began to be overcome with snakes. And it was, only after they were dying from snake bites, they realized, oh, maybe we've sinned. So they repent. They turn to Moses. Moses prays on behalf of the people. And so God instructs Moses to make a rod. And on the top of the rod is a snake. Mm-hmm. So whenever anyone was bit by the snake, they had to just look at the rod with the snake on it and they would live. So I thought that was really interesting that God would have them look at the thing that haunted them, taunted them, that was their greatest adversary. Mm-hmm. And they have to face it in order to overcome it. And sometimes God makes us face things in order to overcome it. and to become better people.
Right.
Would I say that I would definitely go out and choose to have an illness or a disability? No, but I can thoroughly, with the most confidence, say that raising my child definitely made me a better person. It made me more compassionate. It made me more thoughtful. It just allowed God to pour a lot of different things into me.
Okay.
And again, I know people under similar circumstances and they're bitter and still mad. So, we really have to choose life, make a choice. It's a choice.
That's good. Tell everybody how your son is doing now, because it's such a blessing.
And he is doing great. September 6th is the day Landon graduates with a Bachelor of Science in computer animation from Full Sail University. We are just
that's amazing.
We are feeling it. But I want to encourage other people, because this is the same kid that we were praying our way out of middle school. I mean, we were up late doing homework. He was crying, I was crying. So, never look at your present circumstance as that's what it's always going to be. You never know how God will ultimately bless you, but you just have to be willing to receive it and be willing to expect that God's willing to help us. I think that's another thing that touches on blessings, is we have to have a certain expectation. It goes back to what you were saying about God responds to our level of faith. I have found that to be true in my life. He does. And if you don't have faith for anything, how can you expect anything?
Right. Yes, that is so right. Oh, that's so good. I hope so. Like, I really hope this is going to help somebody. This is why I wanted to do the show, because there's so many people out there who I know personally, who have touched my life and have helped me. And I just wanted to, give you guys to the world, or to at least right now to my little small circle. And then hopefully it'll ever get bigger and bigger and bigger. And eventually it's going to go out to the world, because people will do that. They'll be like, oh, now that she's rich and famous and everybody knows her name, what did she used to do? And then they'll go back to the old stuff and they'll see what we've been doing.
Hey,
it's like this is not an overnight team. We've been doing this for a long time.
But you want to pay it forward, and sometimes it's like when I write a post. A very small circle of people read them, but for some people that might be the word that they needed that day to get through. So I never think of it as a waste because millions and millions of people aren't receiving it. I just expected the person who needs to get it is going to get it.
Yes,
we keep moving.
Yes. So look, if you're one of those people who are always complaining and don't know how blessed you are, inbox me now and I'll tell you why you are complaining. I can help you with that. So inbox me. So Lilka, one of your blog is B is for Blessed, but you also are an author. So tell us about your books, God in the Garden and P is for Prayer. Is I love that. Because all this stuff, because I love all the P's, just, break down all the P's too.
Well, it's kind of hilarious because I started writing P is for Prayer. Just one thought would drop into my mind and then another and another. So I just kind of went with it until it stopped. And both of the books are devotionals. P is for Prayer. All of the topics in the book begin with the letter P. So it talks about prayer, persistence, perseverance, just many things. And
praise and peace.
Exactly.
Purity and purpose. I got them, girl.
And then God in the Garden kind of touches on my love for gardening, because most people who know me know that I love to be outside. That's just my passion. And when I'm outside, God tends to speak to me. I actually get more sometimes from being in the earth and the sunlight than actually sitting in a building listening to someone preaching. So it's talking about a lot of those principles like reaping and sowing and planning and patience that are actually found throughout the Bible that we need to kind of implement in our lives. When you plant a seed, it takes time for that to come to fruition. You have to have patience. You have to have sun, you have to have rain. So again, devotional. And something that you can read daily while you're sitting to pick up your kids while you're at the doctor's office. Both of them are available on Amazon, but hopefully they're the first of many. I enjoy writing, and I did not know that that's what would eventually come out of me, but you know, we just kind of see where it goes.
Well, look, and only because I know you so well, and it's a good thing to do an interview with people you know, because I need you to go back to when you were talking about God in the garden, how you like being outside in the sun, but now what's going on with you health-wise?
Oh, it's so crazy. Okay, so I love to be outside in the sun. I'm a Florida girl, have always been in the sun. So now, as I have aged a bit, supposedly I'm allergic to the sun. So when I go outside, I am like SPF 100 up and down. And it was depressing for a while because last year about this time, you know, we didn't know what was going on. So I wasn't able to get out in my yard. I wasn't able to garden. And it was a bit depressing, you know, because the things that you have passion for, when you're not able to do them anymore, it just kind of stifles you.
Yeah.
So, you know, realize I'm allergic to the sun. So I'm wearing SPF clothing and I'm spraying myself down. But again, I made a choice that I can either give it up or I can pursue it to the best of my ability. So I'm in Jamaica with you, all sprayed up, all covered up, looking like a beekeeper.
Yeah.
But I was able to have a good time. You know, I'm taking my Benadryl before I go out there. I'm taking it when I come back in. You know, sometimes we can do the things that we want to do, but they require a little bit of effort on our part. And then sometimes God's just going to see how bad you want it.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So sometimes the blessing comes out of our working to get it.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that's putting on your clothing, all your SPF, and they go. And then you might have to pay a little extra for the with the little bed that we were in.
Oh yeah, in the cabana.
In the little cabana we were but it was so much fun. It was so comfortable too.
But
That was awesome. Yeah.
You know,
But then it's you made a choice though. You made a choice that you like, look, I'm not going to not go to Jamaica because I'm allergic to the sun. I'm not going to not get out in my garden every now and then because I'm allergic to the sun. Let me figure out how I can get out in the sun and it not affect me negatively.
Exactly.
And you did the research and you bought the things that you needed to do, the clothing, the spray, all that. And you do the extra work so you can enjoy life.
Yeah,
and feel blessed.
And I can't go out there as long as I used to. You know, I have to do it really early in the morning or really late in the evening, but I still get to do it.
Yeah.
You know, I enjoy it. One of the things I like to do is sit on my front porch. It's actually where I get a lot of praying done and just kind of sit and can hear God. And of course, you know, the porch is getting sun exposure. Yeah. And I'm like, the devil is a lie. I am going to be able to go to my little prayer spot. I am not going to hide inside, you know, and you have to bundle up, cover up, and do what you need to do. But sometimes the things that are the most rewarding, they take a lot of work. And I heard a national evangelist say this, and it really stuck with me. And her words were, never complain about what other people have if you aren't willing to do what they did to get it.
Ooh, that's a word. That's a word. Because I tell people all the time, I was like, you know, I look up to Tyler Perry, but I don't want to work as hard as Tyler Perry. So I might not ever get me that big old studio. Now I'm going to have what I want, but I don't know if I want to work that hard. Because he worked hard.
He
worked hard. Yes, you know? I mean, like, woo. Because, I mean, I should be pumping out a book 2 books a year based on how he be working.
At least, based on how I know your mind works and all the stories in your head, yeah, you could probably put out about 4 a year. Easy.
So the goal is now, though, because so I was like, okay, so next year by this time, I should definitely have another fiction, another nonfiction, and 2 children's books. At least by this time next year. Easy. Yeah. But but you're right. It's like I'm not gonna complain about what other people have and I don't have it if I'm not willing to work that hard. You know, I say so I'm that's why I feel blessed where I am, because I'm like, I know what I want to do. It's not what I'm capable of doing what Tyler Perry did and having what he had. I just don't know if I want it that bad because I don't like working that hard.
What you are.
So I'm
No.
just going to be blessed at my working the kind of work I do.
But again, it's a choice. You
It's
have
a
made
choice.
do that,
Yeah.
and you're not criticizing him for what he does have.
Exactly. Oh no, I applaud him and be like, yes, brother. I just want to go to that island though for a little while.
You are funny. You just came off island.
I know.
You better write those books.
I love going on islands. Me and islands. I don't know. I got issues with islands. But look, you said something else too about if you sometimes things that like your biggest blessings, you might have to work for it. You know?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just think about when we were in pharmacy school and we were struggling and we were scraping and trying to pass exams and praying before exams.
Yeah.
You know, that was not easy.
Right.
We did it, but think about how many people that we knew that ended up pursuing a different path because it was a lot of work. It was hard.
It was. Yeah. Yeah. So look, we only have about 5 minutes left. It went so fast, didn't it?
Because we were laughing.
Always. Okay, 5 minutes. Just kind of wrap up. What would you like? What do you think that the listeners should really understand about being blessed?
I want the listeners to realize that being blessed is not merely a sum of the things that you have. It's not just the favor that you receive from God, but it's also making a choice to choose to see God in everything and making a choice to give to others. You know, being blessed, we tend to relate it to receiving, but the best blessings are when you give of your time, give of your energy, and even give of your money. I know a lot of people don't like to give of their money, but we're always blessed when we sow that seed. That goes back to those biblical and gardening principles. You can't reap anything if you don't sow anything.
That's good.
So, you know, just look outside of yourself. I think I heard from some motivational speaker, and I listened to a lot, so I can't put a name to it. You know, when you have a problem that you can't seem to solve and you're kind of stuck, do something for something else to get your mind off yourself. You know, you do that extra for someone else, God will step in and fill your need. I have always found being blessed, or the key to receiving blessings, is doing something for someone else and expecting nothing in return. Just do it because, you know, a lot of people will say, well, that person doesn't deserve it, but we don't deserve the favor and grace that we get from God.
Yes.
You know, so you have to give as you want to receive. I want to receive generously, so I try to give generously. And, you know, again, it's a choice.
Yes. So, you know what, you just brought up something really good. And so it's to segue into how I'm going to end, because I'm broadcasting on WYTV7, the Christian Broadcasters Network, and it's a nonprofit charitable radio broadcast. And their mission is to empower, encourage, and educate the listeners. So donations are always welcome to further the mission. And anybody out there that's listening, you can donate through the website www.wytv7.org. And with that, Luca, thank you so much for being my first guest on my new podcast, Blessed. I appreciate you so much.
You are blessed, because you know I love me some you, because anyone else, I'd be like, what?
I love it. Thank you so much. And everybody out there, tune in every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 o'clock my time, Pacific time, for Blessed. And I just be blessed. Thank you. Amen.
All right, Ray.
All right. Where's she go?
I feel blessed. Way up, I feel blessed. Way up.
Say, yeah.
You're listening to Blessed on WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network with your host, Raquel Tolson. Blessed. It's more than just a hashtag.